and welcome. It's me, Percitas, and this is Percitas Paradox. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate you and your time in finding me on YouTube today. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. And if you are an OG, as always, thank you so much for joining me week after week. So today, let's get right into it. What should we talk about, you might ask? Well, I think that we should talk about a thing called patterns. And we should talk about the patterns in our life and what we call ourselves dealing with when it comes to a new year. So let's pose the question. The question of the day is, what are your patterns looking like for you to actually have a new year? Or let's just break it all the way down. New year, new you. What's the pattern you need to break? And you might say, Percitas, look, I'm giving myself all I need to. I have done everything I can do in 2021, and I'm looking forward to a new year, and all this great stuff is going to happen to me in the new year because it's a new year, right? And you're literally identifying the new year as your changing trajectory of what it would take or what it requires for you to be new. Let me be the first to tell you that it's really not about the calendar year. We never seem to understand that just because there's a new calendar year, that new calendar year does not represent newness of you. It represents a new calendar year. If you are not aware of what is happening in your patterns, then you've really just kind of played a game with yourself mentally in trying to create a resolution that doesn't necessarily need a calendar year to change. You might say, well, what do you mean? Typically, by law of life, you can pretty well determine what's going to happen in something if you look at the pattern of that something, be it your personality, be it your finances, be it the way that you develop or maintain your relationships, be it your career. The pattern that you are walking in is primarily the way that you will always do things. So when I say you have to really be conscious of not focusing on the idea of a new calendar year, that's what I'm basically saying. If you're walking into the new year and you're just assuming the calendar year is going to change your habits and your patterns, you're sadly mistaken. It's going to then be nothing more than a new calendar year, not a new you. That whole cliche has just become synonymous with the idea of you changing, the pattern. And we all know that that's not true. You're going to carry whatever you have not ceased to identify as being detrimental to your progress, detrimental to your growth, whatever you want to identify that with, detrimental to whatever it is that you feel is holding you up from your goals. It's going to carry on right into the new calendar year. So when we're saying to ourselves that we want to change, first we have to look at what our pattern is. We have to be honest and true to ourselves to really be able to say who you are and what you are before you can actually go and even try to focus on it or pray about it or meditate on it or try to put up a vision board. I couldn't remember what that was a couple of videos ago. But anyway, or any of those things, you have to actually be in a position where you're willing to be that honest with yourself to identify the pattern. Logistically in your mind, it is very complicated to really critique yourself because you want to continuously have an idea. Well, let me say most people want to continuously have an idea that they're doing their best and they're doing better than they did yesterday. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking progression or knocking the process. What I'm saying is that when you're speaking newness, you would have to know that you have to pay that debt off. It would equate to if you are trying to increase your credit score and you are told that you need to pay the credit card off. Putting something on the credit card and reducing the balance on the card does not complete the task of paying it off. And so many times we find ourselves giving ourselves kudos, right? And high-fiving ourselves in the middle of the process. I like to call it the participation award that we give to ourselves. In life, you really don't get a participation award. I know that most athletes that are coming up now, and I'm gonna call them athletes, literally children, but most sports that identify with the child, they really do set out to then give this participation award, right? Just to simply say that you're in the game. Not knocking in the game. I'm not telling you that being in the game is not cool. What I'm speaking of is a newness, right? A change. To change your patterns to actually become new requires you to actually get over, solidify, complete, however you want to do, whatever adjective you want to use, you have to be in a position of actually changing. So many times you hear people want to apologize, and truthfully, apologizing verbally means absolutely nothing. You would actually have to be willing to change your habits. And that's the problem. People won't change their habits, but they want something new. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to be the first person to say it, and I'm sure I won't be the last person to say it, but in all honesty, a new you has to then let go of the old you to make room for what it is that you're trying to bring to the new. You want to absolutely feel like you understand this concept so intensely that you decide to change. Once you decide to change, then you can speak on a new you. That new you does not require a new calendar year. I'm going to say it again. That new you does not require a new calendar year. You can literally change in the middle of me speaking in this video. You can change in your car, in the shower. You can change instantaneously because it starts in your mindset and then it proceeds through your limbs to actually then come through a action. The hardest part about this understanding, especially during this time of the year, is that we try to blame our newness on just the calendar year. So the new year comes around, 2022, people are already like, oh yeah, I'm already excited about 2022. I'm going to do so much. I'm done with this year. I'm going to start all of my newness in the new year. Ridiculous. It sounds absolutely insane. If you think about what you're saying, is it fun to say? Not for me, but for a lot of people, it absolutely is, because it sounds as if you're doing something when truthfully you're doing absolutely nothing. And then the next year will come, 2022 will arrive, and you will absolutely be in the exact same state you were. You're bringing the old you into the new year. And then you'll do it again and again and again, and you'll look up and it's 4 and 5 and 6 years, and you're still talking about how you're better than you were last year. In this very turtle-like movement mindset to really try to give yourself kudos for doing the bare minimum. I'm fine with the bare minimum, never, okay? And what I mean by that is I'm definitely going to give myself everything that I got, especially if these jobs that we have, our children, our relationships, other people, however you want to look at it, are always in a position of feeling as if you need to give them your best. What do you hear all the time? Well, I mean, if you're not bringing something to the table, then, you don't get a seat, or you need to make sure that you are doing something to make people want you, or whatever else it is. There's always these accountability things for happiness to transpire through you to other people. What if I told you it is just as important to be that person for yourself? Very complicated to think about if you don't understand that you have to be whole in order to give anything away. You have to have something in the bank to be able to give away any money. A philanthropist is not a person who doesn't have any money. They also have enough money to give away while they're still sustaining whatever lifestyle that they have. When we're talking about philanthropy, we have to look at it from the idea of even our own gifts and our own life and lifestyle. If that be the case and we are looking to go to another level, we'd have to understand that you have to know that you can sustain the level that you're on and that you've outgrown that level in order for you to go to the next level. So I just really want you to focus today on your mindset when you're talking about the newness and the new you and the new year and resolution and all of what that should actually mean. I'm not telling you that you can't say it. I'm not telling you anything of the sort. But what I am saying is that you need to understand what you're saying so that you understand why you're just the same person in a new calendar year. So let's go over it again. The calendar year does not make you new. It does not. It is only a new calendar year. You have to make you new, and you are under no subjection of waiting until the new year to become new. Do it today. Move into that position today so that as the new calendar year transitions, you also have already started the trajectory of your transition. And guess what? You are whole and new. So As always, I thank you so much for joining me today. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and speak to you, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. But before you do that, I need you to make sure that you do 3 things. Live life authentic. Live life authentic. Thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate you and all of your support. If you've gotten this far, please remember to like, share, comment, do all those other great things. If you haven't subscribed and you've continuously come back, do me the favor this year of changing at that habit, right? Of just watching the video and not subscribing, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.